A very good evening. Thanks for your company. Manchester Airport says it expects flights to restart later today after a significant power cut halted flights and left thousands stranded. The airport's chief executive has apologised after all flights from Terminals 1 and 2 were cancelled for several hours. The outage meant a quarter of all flights at the UK's third busiest airport were cancelled this afternoon. Well, earlier, videos showed people waiting in long queues in dark terminals after a power outage affected Terminals 1 and 2. Inbound flights were diverted to other locations, and there's been chaos at the baggage carousels as passengers tried to find their belongings.
Bags everywhere, there's absolutely thousands. You can't get a seat, and we're now getting asked to leave the airport now. You know, surely they have a duty of care for us, but we're now stranded.
We've been advised this morning not to travel to Manchester Airport, but we thought we'd chance it, as our flight's not until 6:30 for tea time. You know, fingers crossed. You've got to make the best of a bad situation. It's not the airline's fault, it's not the Manchester Airport's fault, it's no one's fault, it's just one of them freaky things that happen in everyday life.
Let's speak to Sky Shark Leeming, who's at Manchester Airport. Really miserable for passengers trying to get away today. Do we know why this happened and what's the situation now?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the words, confusion, chaos and queues are the words to describe this disruption today. What we know is this major significant power cut this morning in the early hours, and it was a really big spike and it really hit a lot of the systems in the airport. So, they just couldn't risk people going through baggage and security in that situation, had to sort it out. But as you say, misery, frustration for those holidaymakers who were, looking forward to their journeys. We went down to Terminal 1 earlier and people were in tears, and they're on the phone to the airlines for hours at a time trying to get some information. Young children outside and people just so frustrated, not knowing what to do. People had turned up not knowing in the early hours and then were told, sorry, you're not going on holiday. So this major power cut earlier on, which is now being resolved. All the flights were cancelled earlier on from Terminals 1 and 2. It's been an absolute fiasco. Well, the managing director of the airport has apologised personally. Let's hear what he had to say.
This morning at 1:30, we had a cable in the ground that faulted. It then sent a surge of power across the network. The vast majority of our systems we recovered quickly, but unfortunately 2 critical systems to do with our baggage systems, screening people's hold baggage, and our security systems didn't come back up. And as a result, in Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, we weren't able to be able to depart flights until this afternoon.
Well, the thing is, we thought this disruption might be settled by tonight and tomorrow morning things will be back to normal, but there is no guarantee. It's still looking quite risky, quite dodgy, such a backlog in these delays. So people, of course, frustrated and looking for compensation because some people I spoke to were desperate to get on holiday. So they said, well, we're going to go to Leeds Bradford or we're going to go from Edinburgh, booking flights that are costing thousands of pounds more. The airport has said, please go to your airline for that compensation. But of course, thousands of people are all ringing these airlines at the same time. They can't get through. So a lot of frustration, the hope that tomorrow we could be seeing people getting away on their holidays, but certainly a miserable start for so many hoping to fly away and enjoy their summer holidays.
Yeah, absolutely right. Really frustrating for so many. But for now, thank you, Charlotte.